we've accomplished it. After countless sleepless nights, international collaboration, and the most extensive data decryption effort in the history of humanity, the message has at last been unveiled. What initially appeared as a static pattern, lost in radio noise, has transformed into a construct, intentional, mathematical, organized, and filled with purpose. And this evening, I can finally articulate these words. We are not alone, and we never were. I am Dr. Michio Kaku. This evening, I speak to you not merely as a scientist, but as an individual striving to grasp the enormity of what we've unearthed. The signal from an object identified as 3I Atlas has been completely decoded. Its revelations do not only alter our understanding of astronomy or physics, they fundamentally reshape the very narrative of humanity. Originally, 3I, Atlas was considered just another deep space entity, a wandering interstellar probe, perhaps the remnant of a bygone civilization. However, the communication concealed within its radio emissions told a different story. It wasn't random noise, it was a message, intentional, exact, mathematical. For the first time, the universe has responded. The initial clue lay in the pulse sequence. 37 energy bursts, each precisely 1 second long. 37, a prime number, not divisible, not coincidental, the 12th prime. Our team came to recognize that it wasn't merely counting, it was establishing a framework. The 12th something, the 12th figure in a sequence we hadn't yet identified. Next, we observed the timing, with each pulse spaced exactly 15.7 seconds apart. That seemed arbitrary until we compared it with the hydrogen line, the most universal frequency in the cosmos. The entire pattern was inscribed not in human seconds, but in hydrogen time units, the atomic rhythms of the universe. Once we perceived it this way, the numbers began to convey significance. The 2.1 seconds equated precisely to 3 billion hydrogen periods, while the 15.7 seconds amounted to 22.4 billion. The ratio between the two? 7.5 to 1. When Dr. Elena Vasquez at MIT noted that 5 billion years aligns almost perfectly with the estimated age of Earth when complex multicellular life emerged, the room fell silent. This was no coincidence. Someone or something was alluding to our history, using their universal mathematics to directly identify us. From that point on, the decoding accelerated. We realized that each layer of the signal held another language, mathematics first, followed by physics, then chemistry, biology, and finally time. It was akin to unraveling the very structure of reality, one equation at a time. Each pulse contained a chirp, that subtle upward frequency shift, which encoded constants, the fundamental numbers of existence, the fine structure constant, the electron-to-proton mass ratio, even the balance between electromagnetic and gravitational forces were included. They weren't showing off. They were constructing a bridge, creating a shared foundation of physics, a handshake articulated in universal truth. Then, Dr. Michael Chen's team at Caltech focused on the amplitude, the rise and fall of each signal's strength. When mapped in three-dimensional space, those fluctuations formed an image, revealing an astonishing galactic map. Stars sparkled like silver dust scattered across a dark ocean, centered not on them, but on us. 12 systems were marked, each denoted with the same mathematical identifier, the 12th prime. One of those stars was our own sun, while the other 11 were all G-type stars, aged between 4 and 7 billion years, each within 5,000 light-years from us. It felt as though someone had circled us, creating a cosmic neighborhood, mapped, catalogued, numbered. We were not the only entries in this ledger. We were entry number 12. The implications were profound. This was not a mere random beacon. 3I Atlas was part of a network, part of a survey, a mission traversing local space to catalog worlds capable of supporting life. And we were included, the 12th world recognized for hosting complex life, the 12th civilization to reach this juncture. But what precisely was this juncture? The answer came from a final layer of the signal, a subtle phase modulation hidden behind the pulses. Dr. Sarah Mitchell at Oxford opened it like a vault, revealing timestamps, billions of them. When translated from hydrogen time units to human years, They corresponded with 6 critical milestones in Earth's history with chilling precision. The first, 3.8 billion years ago, the inception of life. The second, 2.4 billion years ago during the Great Oxygenation Event. The third, 540 million years ago, marking the Cambrian explosion, when complex life flourished in the oceans. The Gabi. Fourth, 66 million years ago, the extinction of the dinosaurs. The fifth, 300,000 years ago, the emergence of Homo sapiens. The sixth, 10,000 years ago, the agricultural revolution. And then, a solitary date stood apart, marked differently from the others, 1945. The year of the Trinity test, the moment. Humanity split the atom and gained the capability to annihilate itself. That was when 3I Atlas, or those who sent it, decided we had crossed a threshold. We were no longer just another species, silently evolving on a small blue planet. We had become something different. A civilization with the power to either destroy or transcend. In their perception, this made us worthy of direct attention. This realization sparked a unified inquiry among every scientist in every control room. If they have been observing us for billions of years, what now? Why reveal themselves at this moment? The last segment of the message offered a chilling response. Buried within the carrier wave were coordinates, spatial data unmistakably heliocentric. Upon decoding, they indicated a location roughly 1.3 astronomical units from the Sun, just beyond Earth's orbit, accompanied by a precise timestamp, 18 months from now down to the minute. It was neither random nor metaphorical. It was a date, a location, a scheduled event. We rechecked, double-checked, even triple-checked, before asking every observatory on Earth to confirm. The mathematics held, the physics held. And now the question nobody can evade arises. What will occur in 18 months at those coordinates? Is it a rendezvous, an arrival, a warning, or an event beyond our understanding? In the weeks that followed, I found myself in meetings where every conceivable interpretation was debated. In NASA, ESA, JAXA, Roscosmos, CNSA. Each major space agency verified the same findings. The coordinates are genuine, the time frame is exact, and the implications are overwhelming. Some colleagues advocate for an immediate response, to reply to the message, demonstrating that we heard and understood them. They argue it marks the dawn of a new era, the moment we step onto the interstellar stage. Others advise caution. They already know we're here, one general told me, but they don't yet comprehend how we will respond. Let's not expose our weaknesses. The United Nations has called for emergency closed-door sessions. Governments are in dispute over who should represent humanity. Scientists are at odds over what we should communicate, while religious leaders debate the meaning behind it all. For the first time in history, every discourse on Earth returns to a singular question. What if someone out there is awaiting a reply? Yet, amid the anxiety and fascination, another realization has emerged. A quiet, humbling awareness that our narrative has always been part of a far larger one. The numbers, constants, and timeline are not merely data. They are a reflection held up by an intelligence that perceives us not as conquerors or children, but as one of 12 sparks of life scattered throughout a cosmic expanse. For millennia, we have pondered if anyone exists beyond our world. Now the question has shifted. Someone is wondering if we are ready. The remaining content of the message, what it implies, what it demands of us, is what I will expound upon next. However, make no mistake, tonight marks the commencement of the countdown, 18 months. The clock is ticking, and humanity has now entered the galaxy's narrative. The signal's decoding has transformed everything. For decades, we envisioned that first contact would arrive as a singular, undeniable moment, a flash in the sky, a descending ship, a clear voice calling our name across the cosmos. But the reality arrived in silence, concealed within mathematics, whispering through hydrogen frequencies. It wasn't the thunder of revelation, it was a whisper that said, "We have been observing you." Since that day, the world has shifted. Every government, every observatory, every data center is engulfed in a global fervor. The message is no longer theory, it's data, verifiable, reproducible, undeniable. Yet the meaning remains a tempest nobody can still. I've been present, in the rooms where decisions are being made, conference tables surrounded by fatigued scientists, military officers, diplomats, and theologians. The same question keeps resurfacing. What do we do now that the universe has gazed back at us? NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory undertook trajectory simulations, thousands of them. The coordinates in the message indicate a precise point in space that Earth will approach in just over 17 months. They term it the window of alignment. According to orbital mechanics, this position allows for uninterrupted line-of-sight communication with Earth, minimal time delay, perfect geometry, as if whoever orchestrated this understood precisely how to facilitate a meeting. Yet a meeting implies intent, and intent suggests awareness. Once we acknowledge this, the ramifications ripple outward like a tidal wave. Dr. Chen argues that the message is an invitation. They've been watching us evolve, he stated. Now they're offering us the choice to reach out. He likens it to a teacher waiting for a student to articulate her first word. Dr. Vasquez, however, disagrees. It's a test, she asserted during that same discussion. They wish to observe whether we respond with curiosity or fear. Our reaction will reveal the essence of our species. Then General Dawson slammed his fist on the table, growling, "You're missing the point. If something enters our vicinity, armed with technology, millions of years in advance of ours, it hardly matters whether they approach us peacefully." That was the moment I realized that science had fulfilled its role. The rest is philosophy, politics, and fear. Still, the data continues to flow. Observatories worldwide have been monitoring the coordinates around the clock. No objects have been detected, no anomalies, only silence. However, even silence bears weight now. Then just 3 weeks ago, an unexpected secondary signal was identified. Not from 3I Atlas itself, but from one of the 11 other coordinates indicated on the galactic map. This signal originated from a G-type star called Epsilon Indi, located 20 light-years away. While different, it utilized the same mathematical foundation. The same prime number language, the same hydrogen modulation. Another entry in the catalogue, another voice whispering through time. This validation altered the atmosphere of every meeting. The notion that these 12 systems are interconnected is no longer a mere hypothesis. It stands as evidence. 3I Atlas is not singular. It is part of a network. This signifies that this is not simply a message. It is a system conversing with itself across the stars, recording each civilization's progression like a cosmic archive. The press has yet to uncover this. The public narrative remains controlled, sanitized, and safe, an unusual radio signal under examination. Yet behind the scenes, nations are gearing up for the unimaginable. Satellites are being repositioned, observatories realigned, and even military assets and surveillance arrays are covertly monitoring that region of space. Whatever transpires in 17 months, the world will witness it collectively. I gaze out my window at night, pondering how many others are doing the same. There's a peculiar unity in this newfound uncertainty. People appear different, quieter, more thoughtful. For the first time, humanity feels diminutive. Perhaps this is what we've needed all along. The message itself hasn't offered solace. It has imparted perspective. We are not the center of existence. Rather, we are a line in a ledger that stretches across thousands of light years. And somehow recognizing that feels right. Yet the question still lingers, who are they? No biological description, no name, no language other than numbers. But we do know this. They grasp physics, chemistry, and biology in ways that elude our understanding. The encoded constants were articulated with a precision that surpasses our current technology. The signal strength remained unwavering across interstellar distances, suggesting transmission methods beyond radio, possibly involving quantum entanglement or exotic modifications of spacetime itself. Whoever they are ancient, enduring, and patient. The team at the Max Planck Institute has dubbed them the Archivists. They speculate that 3I Atlas is not alive in a biological sense, but functions as a probe. Autonomous, self-repairing, capable of traversing for billions of years. A seed of knowledge disseminated throughout the galaxy. Checking in on each world that reaches a certain threshold. The more I contemplate that, the more I wonder, are we their creation or merely their subjects of observation? The timeline they encoded indicates they have been revisiting periodically. First, when life commenced, then as intelligence developed, and now that we wield the power of atoms. Perhaps we were never meant to detect them until we were prepared. Maybe this moment signals our readiness or our judgment. What follows is being deliberated in every power corridor. Some nations advocate for a transmission now, a simple mathematical acknowledgement. Message received. Others caution that even that could expose too much. Our pulse timing, our transmitter strength, our exact location could reveal vulnerabilities. The irony is harsh. After decades of searching, now that we've discovered someone, we're reluctant to respond. I keep pondering the same question. What are they measuring in us? Perhaps it isn't our intelligence. Perhaps it's our ability to cooperate. Whether we can confront something beyond ourselves without descending into chaos. That is why these forthcoming months hold greater significance than ever. The challenge lies not in the technical realm, but in the moral one. Can 7 billion people share one sky, one fear, one hope without fracturing apart? Can we speak as a single voice when the universe calls our name? Every religion is interpreting its texts anew. Every politician is reframing priorities. Wars have paused, not out of peace, but due to distraction. The notion that we're being surveilled by something unfathomable has temporarily united the world in a fragile truce. In that silence, something extraordinary is occurring. Scientists from rival nations are sharing data openly for the first time in decades. Young students are flocking into physics and astronomy programs, and the internet, typically filled with noise and anger, has quieted into discussions about meaning, destiny, and purpose. Fear has for now united us. Still, the countdown carries on. From 18 months to 17, now 16 and a half. Each passing day brings us closer to the appointed hour, and the atmosphere feels heavier, as if the planet itself is holding its breath. Late last night, I found myself standing in JPL's control room, the hum of computers resonating in the silence. The main screen illuminated with the coordinates, an empty point in the void, awaiting. One engineer whispered, "Do you think they'll actually come?" I wanted to affirm. I wanted to deny. Instead, I voiced the only thing that felt accurate. They already have. Because in a way, contact has already transpired. Not through light or sound, but through understanding. We have received the message, and in deciphering it, we have transformed ourselves. We have become a species cognizant of its reflection in the cosmic mirror, and that reflection is humbling. What transpires next hinges on how we confront that reflection, whether with fear or wonder. The universe has posed us a question. We have 16 months to determine our response. 17 months have passed since the decoding. The countdown has entered its final hours. The world is poised, holding its breath. Every telescope, every satellite, every instrument capable of sight or sound is fixed on a singular point in the heavens, 1.3 astronomical units from the sun, the coordinates relayed to us by 3i Atlas. For the first time, humanity is collectively gazing in the same direction. It's remarkable how tranquil the planet has become. Lighter traffic, postponed wars, markets ceasing to feign concern. Deep down, each person realizes that nothing they possess, nothing they battle over will have significance if the sky responds. Tonight, I stand in the main control room of the International Coordination Center, a collaborative facility constructed in record time by a coalition of nations that scarcely trusted each other a year prior. Above me, hundreds of screens stream live feeds from observatories worldwide. Optical, radio, gamma, infrared, a mosaic of human perspectives turned outward. The hum of machinery resonates like a heartbeat. Any movement? I inquire. In negative, Dr. Vasquez replies, her tone steady, although her hands betray slight tremors. The coordinates remain clear, only background noise. For weeks, the signal from 3i Atlas has been silent. No fresh data, no new transmission. It seems as though it spoke once, imparted what it needed, and has since awaited our return to keep our promise. Outside, cities hold vigils. Children gaze at projection domes, showcasing live footage of the vast darkness where something might emerge. Hands are clasped in unity with strangers. Around the globe, there pulses a singular feeling of anticipation, fragile and electric. Then at 2:13 Universal Time it occurs. A faint surge in background radiation, steady and rhythmic, a pulse, not random. Every observatory detects it simultaneously. "We have confirmation," someone cries from the main screen. A wave pattern stabilizes, then divides into two distinct frequencies. Harmonic pairs dancing in flawless symmetry. The room falls silent. "It's them," Dr. Chen whispers. The signal is unmistakable. Not noise, not natural, but structured, deliberate, almost graceful. Two tones repeating every 37 seconds, the identical prime sequence that initiated it all. 3i Atlas is present, or something that represents it. Telemetry verifies that an object is materializing near the specified coordinates. Small, reflective, roughly the size of a terrestrial satellite. Its trajectory is stable, its motion intentional. Every nation observes in real time as the object emits a narrow beam of coherent light. Not directed at Earth, but into the abyss, as though signaling something beyond us. For 21 minutes, it remains quiet, save for that pulse, endlessly repeating. Then unexpectedly, a third tone joins the symphony. Lower, slower, undeniably human. Dr. Mitchell gasps. "That's our reply signal," she exclaims. "The acknowledgement we transmitted 3 months ago." The room freezes. The probe isn't communicating with us, it is mirroring us. Our message folded into its own, transmitted back across the void, not mockery, not threat, but recognition. A reflection directed at our voice saying, "We heard you." In an instant, the tension dissipates. Laughter erupts and tears flow. I close my eyes and absorb the moment. It's akin to standing in a cathedral formed not of stone but of silence and mathematics. Yet then, the light shifts. The beam that once extended outward suddenly narrows, refocusing towards the sun. Intensity rises, controlled, calibrated, akin to the adjustment of a lens. Data floods our sensors. Electromagnetic signatures previously unseen, modulation patterns so intricate they appear almost biological. Then abruptly the beam ceases. The object remains stationary for another 12 minutes, then starts to move slowly, deliberately, away from the inner solar system. No detectable acceleration, no thrust. It simply drifts as if propelled by thought. Hours later it fades beyond our detection range. Silence returns, but this time it carries a different weight, heavy, purposeful. We dissect every bite, every pulse, every second of the event. Upon decoding, the 3-tone pattern reveals a final sequence of coordinates. Not near us this time, but scattered across the 12 systems highlighted on the original map. One of them, ours, illuminates with particular brightness, while the others form a perfectly spaced ring. Dr. Chen dubs it the Circle, a network of 12 worlds interconnected by mathematics, now activated by whatever transpires here. No. Voice emerges, no ships arrive, no answers provided. Merely the quiet realization that somewhere, something ancient and patient has included us in its design. Days later, governments issue a joint declaration. There will be no weaponization, no secrecy. The data is open source, accessible to all nations. For once, humanity opts for transparency, choosing not to fear the unknown. Reactions are vast and varied: celebration, disbelief, worship, denial. Yet something fundamental has shifted. Borders seem diminished. The term humanity resonates more profoundly. Children sketch constellations in the dirt, whispering that perhaps, just perhaps, someone out there is sketching them too. When I finally step outside, dawn welcomes the horizon. The first sunrise of this new era. The sky appears unchanged, but I recognize it as different. Above us, a silent observer has come and gone, leaving only questions and a reflection of ourselves. What was the purpose of the probe? Was it an invitation, a test, or a record? We may never uncover the truth, yet perhaps that is the point. Maybe they sought not understanding from us, but unity, curiosity, readiness. I reflect on the message once more, particularly the line that seemed to speak directly to us. You are sufficiently advanced that observation without awareness is no longer appropriate. In other words, they recognized that we have finally awakened. Now the universe knows our name, and for the first time in history, we know where to look when we respond. Contact has come and gone, leaving us humbled, smaller, yet somehow infinite. 18 months ago, we existed in isolation. Tonight, we are part of something immense. The stars have always been watching. Now they await our reply.